Welcome to Clarity Currents. I'm Danielle Laura, trusted seer and spiritual advisor. Each week, I share grounded energetic transmissions and insights into the week ahead so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it and are equipped to create aligned momentum across your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of April 6th through the 12th, 2026. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of the week, I see a vision of someone cleaning out their closet, pulling everything out, trying things on, and realizing that certain pieces just don't fit anymore because they belong to a past version of who you were. Some things are really easy to let go of, and others you pause with because they meant something to you. But ultimately, there's that quiet knowing that this just isn't me anymore. This is a week of release without force, detachment without the fear, and trust without needing proof. It feels like something you've been unconsciously holding on to, whether that's an identity, a pattern, a way of thinking, or even a timeline, begins to naturally fall away because you've outgrown the version of you that needed it. There's a subtle but powerful shift happening where you may realize you don't think the same way anymore. You don't react the same way anymore. And you don't need the same things anymore. And there can be this strange in-between feeling here, kind of like standing in this room mid-clean out where everything is out, but not everything has been put back yet. It's the space between identities, chapters, and between who you were and who you're becoming. Early in the week, there might be emotional waves come up as this detachment happens, especially around old habits, communication patterns, or ways that you've revealed yourself to others and how you related to others. So let it move. I hear you don't need to keep what no longer fits just because you once loved it. And as the week unfolds, there's this growing sense of internal steadiness and this quiet confidence that begins to anchor in. And by the end of the week, I see the same person closing the closet, only keeping what truly fits and what they love, and walking forward feeling lighter, clearer, and more themselves than ever. The message coming through is that you are not losing anything. You are simply refining who you are. Trust what is naturally falling away. You are safe to move forward without the old versions of you. This is a week of energetic refinement into your next level. Business for the week of April 6th. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, I see a vision of someone standing at a doorway with 1 foot in and 1 foot out. This is the energy of that mid-transition in your business identity. There's a new level, new expression, a new way of leading or showing that is ready to show up. But parts of you might still feel emotionally tethered to the old way. Early in the week, I see a lot of creative ideas, downloads, and intuitive nudges coming about, but also I see this hesitation around acting on them. And the hesitation is because they require you to fully let go of who you've been. And what would it look like if you let go of who you've been? Mid to late week, I do see a shift in action energy, especially as the momentum builds. The message here is to not wait for emotional certainty. Move when the energy hits and trust your instincts over analysis. Also, be mindful of any internal dialogue that sounds like, I need more time, I'm not ready yet, what if this doesn't work? That is the old identity trying to stay safe. This is a week where aligned action creates massive forward movement, even if it feels uncomfortable in the moment. Relationships for the week of April 6th. When I tune into the energetics of relationships this week, I see a vision of 2 people sitting across from each other with a glass wall between them, and then the wall slowly dissolves. This is a week of honest, potentially emotional conversations, but they do create deeper intimacy and truth. There might be moments, especially early in the week, where communication might feel tense, misunderstood, or even emotionally charged. But this is not here to create disconnection. This is here to reveal what hasn't been said, what hasn't been acknowledged, and what needs to shift in order for the relationship to evolve. And I keep hearing the phrase, say the thing. There's a strong invitation to communicate honestly, release old relational patterns, and let go of identities that you've held within your relationships. By the end of the week, I see emotional breakthroughs and deeper alignment, especially if you allow yourself to move through the discomfort rather than avoid it. Also, there might be decisions around who you continue to build with, who you release, what support you call in. So choose what aligns with your future self, not your past attachments. Health for the week of April 6th. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, I see a vision of waves moving through the body, kind of like emotional energy being processed physically. This is a week where your emotional body and physical body are deeply connected. You might experience emotional sensitivity, fatigue, fluctuating energy levels, the need for more rest or alone time. This is not the week to push. This is the week to honor your rhythm. I hear your body is integrating your evolution. Also, pay attention to where emotional tension is being stored in your body. There might be cues around what still needs to be released. Practices that will support you will look like gentle movement, breath work, time in stillness, emotional processing. That could look like journaling, even crying, releasing that energy from your body. The body is not working against you. It's working with you to anchor in your next level. Wealth for the week of April 6th. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see a vision of someone upgrading the foundation of a house before building the next level. This is a week of redefining your self-worth and your relationship with money. There might be moments where you feel a desire for more, a recognition of what no longer feels aligned financially, a need to shift how you value yourself and your work. I hear you don't get to the level of wealth without the next level of self-worth. There may also be opportunities this week that reflect back to you where you're undervaluing yourself, where you're ready to receive more, and where you need to make more aligned decisions. Later in the week, I see a shift where things begin to feel more aligned and supported, especially as you embody your worth on a deeper level. This is less about forcing money and more about becoming the version of you who naturally holds it. Spirituality for the week of April 6th. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, I see a vision of the spiral staircase, each step representing a version that you've outgrown. So this is a week of ascending into a new level of self-awareness and spiritual embodiment. There is a strong support for intuitive clarity, spiritual downloads, and feeling deeply connected to source. But there are going to also be tests of alignment. You may be asked, will you choose your higher path even when it's uncomfortable? Will you trust your intuition over old emotional patterns? I hear that this is where you prove yourself and you prove to yourself who you've become. The veil feels very thin, but not in a chaotic way, in a very grounded, embodied, integrated way. And so this week is really less about seeking spiritually, and it's more about being. And in that beingness, you are going to find your epiphanies, your answers, and the clarity you're looking for. And legacy for the week of April 6th. When I tune into the energetics of legacy this week, I see a vision of someone signing their name on a blank contract labeled New Chapter. This is a week where your identity shifts are directly tied to your long-term legacy. The decisions that you make this week, especially around who you are, what you stand for, and what you're no longer available for, are shaping your future in profound ways. I hear this is the moment you choose yourself at the highest level. There may be pivotal moments where you're asked to take action, let something go, and step fully into your next role. By the end of the week, I see a strong sense of clarity and forward momentum. It's kind of like you've crossed this threshold that you can't uncross, and that is a beautiful thing. There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you a week of deep integration, powerful clarity, and aligned action. Until next week.